Simmer pots add such a warm and cozy feeling to the holiday season. I'm going to share my tips, tricks, and thoughts on this trending idea for the Christmas season. So you may be wondering, what is a simmer pot? Well, it's a mixture of spices and herbs and different things that provide a nice aroma, and you place it into a pot on simmer. And it actually is like potpourri. So I've got a selection of some different herbs and spices here. I have whole cloves, I've got cardamom, star anise, black pepper. These are pink peppercorns. I also have some cinnamon sticks, dried orange peel, and I even have some bay leaves. These all give off a beautiful aroma and just really adds a nice warm and cozy feel for the Christmas season. So you can get really creative. I've got some dried orange slices, some pine cones. I have even made simmer pots using some birch bark. It's just such a fun touch to add. Another fun thing that you can add is some dried florals that are really nicely scented. I also have some coffee beans. I'm going to give that a try. This is dried rosemary. Of course, that's always heavily scented. Some rose hips. This is actually from a potpourri pack that I had. So these are pre-scented. I'm going to try those to see what they're like. Tea bags. This is some maple tea. So I thought that would be a really fun fragrance that you could try out. I also have some loose leaf teas. And one's fruit and one's herbal, so these are great to use in simmer pots as well. I made some cinnamon scented pine cones, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to try these in a simmer pot. I bet you they're going to smell great, along with some fresh evergreen. Now this is some BC fir, but you can use any evergreens that you can get your hands on. You can also use some vanilla extract, or some essential oils. This is some cinnamon, and I also have some citrus. The citrus will just help enhance orange peel or whatever other citrus that you have in your simmer pot. So I do have a tutorial for the cinnamon pine cones. I'm going to have that linked in the description box for you, but I'm going to quickly show you how easy it is to dehydrate your own orange slices. So this is from a previous tutorial that I have done, and all you do is cut your orange slices nice and thin as you can get it. And then I'm going to be taking some paper towel and I'm going to remove the excess liquid from our orange slices. Now, orange slices are a great way to add some beautiful natural decor to your Christmas garlands or trees, but it's great in a simmer pot as well. So I'm just going to, again, pat them all down, place them on the tray. And then this is also how I created just my orange peel bits that I had showed you. And I just took a peeler, peeled the rind, and then placed that on the cookie sheet. And as you can see, the cookie sheet is lined with parchment paper. That just helps prevent sticking from occurring. As another option, you could add fresh to your simmer pot instead, but I like to use the dry. So I dried them on 175 degrees Fahrenheit, and the slices halfway through, I'm going to flip them over. They've been in for about, I'd say about 10-15 minutes. You can see the orange peel is drying nicely, so I'm just going to mix that around. I'm taking my paper towel, and again, I'm removing the excess liquid. You can see the orange peel actually did not take very long, so you just want to keep an eye on it. The slices did take longer. So here is one recipe that I've got together here for you. It's a mix of pine cones, cinnamon sticks, peppercorns, whole cloves, bay leaf, orange slices, and birch bark, just for a fun added touch. So I'm going to show you how I packaged this particular selection. I'm using a bag, a clear cellophane bag that I had on hand, and I'm going to start to place my elements in there. I am being mindful on how I am layering things because I want the pretty decorative elements to show, such as the orange slices, pine cones, the birch bark, and such. So I'm just going to continue to add all these different beautiful ingredients into the bag, and this would make such a lovely hostess gift, especially if you're going out for dinner somewhere to someone's home. I think it's just such a nice thing to add. You could do this with fresh ingredients such as the fresh lemons or some evergreens. If you do that, then the simmer pot will have to be made sooner rather than later, of course. because of the fresh ingredients, but doing one that's all dry, well, this could be kept for a while, which is really, really nice. So I've got all my ingredients in the bag. I just tied it up at the top, and now I've got a paper bag along with the instructions, and I am going to have a printable available of the instructions over on Canva. The link will be available to you down in the description box below. I'm also going to just trim up the bag. It was just a little bit too long. And then I am going to add just some more little touches. But first I needed to just place my plastic bag inside the paper bag along with the instructions. We're just going to keep this really easy and simple. So just go ahead and add those things into your bag, and then I'm going to just fold up the top. You could just put this in a gift bag or use some wrapping paper, get really creative with your packaging, but I wanted just to keep the natural look. I'm going to just staple it shut at the top. And this is what's called a tiny attacher stapler. It's just got nice small staples. I'm going to wrap some jute twine around it just to keep it all nice and just add a little bit of a decorative touch. You could add some greenery on the top, but I'm going to add just a few little jingle bells, and I'm just tying it off with a simple bow. So there's a lot of different ways that you can package this up. You could use some jam jars like I have here. I already have this one that's got some beautiful stained fabric, and it has some wax potpourri in it, but you can see that it has some fabric with no lid, and that would be just beautiful for a simple little simmer pot mix. This is a larger jar that I had some mulling spices in, but you can use a jar like that as well for your simmer pot, or you can use a decorative bag such as this here that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I would just take this clear bag and a smaller amount that will fit inside that cute little bag. You can get yourself a cute little simmer pot like I have right here that I picked up from the thrift store. You can fill it up and then package it up. But I am going to show you how easy it is to make a simmer pot in a large cast iron pot like I have right here. You want to fill up your pot with some water, and then you want to set it on high to start until it starts to simmer. For this recipe, I'm using my cinnamon scented pine cones, my orange slices, and I'm using some fresh evergreens for this one. I was amazed at how beautiful the evergreens smelled. So the orange slices, they are going to rehydrate. I'm also going to add some vanilla extract. I haven't done this before, so I just wanted to try just a little bit since vanilla is very expensive right now. I'm also going to add some dried cloves. Now I did end up going back in and adding some more to the simmer pot. I also ended up adding some more fresh evergreens as I went along just to help enhance that aroma. So for the little simmer pot, I decided I wanted to try the coffee beans with this one. I'm also adding some whole cardamom, and I'm also adding those rose hip pieces from that potpourri. And I have to say, I wish I didn't add that, but I'll tell you more about that in a minute. I'm also adding some pink peppercorns and some birch bark to this mini simmer pot. Again, the temperature is on high to start just to get it to a simmer. And then once it's starting to simmer, I did turn it down. I decided to add some pine cones to it just to add a little bit more interest, because not only does it smell good, but it looks really pretty as well. So those rose hips that I got out of a potpourri pack, it actually was not very pleasant. I really didn't like it, so I ended up pulling those out. But this one, this large pot, it smelled amazing. I absolutely loved the combination of these ingredients. I actually did go in and add a few more whole cloves to it. So here I removed those rose hips. It just was so unpleasant. It really took away from the warm scent of the coffee and all the other spices. So I had my large pot simmering for about an hour, and same with this little one. The large one, I ended up adding some more evergreens to it, and then you can see though how the color was a little bit off, but the scent was still absolutely amazing. I think if I were to do the coffee bean one again, I would change the ingredients that I would add in with the coffee beans, but just play around. Experiment with all the different ingredients and see the different recipes that you can come up with. I'm going to have a few links for you down below on some different recipes that you can check out. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.